on the 20th of August 2021, Insulate Britain issued their two demands.
Insulate Britain has a simple and achievable demand to insulate all the housing stock in Britain now. And if there is no substantial response to these demands by the 1st of September, we will make further announcements about what actions we will next be forced to take.
On September the 13th, the group carried out a large, non-violent direct action targeting 4 M25 junctions.
Protesters demanding government action on home insulation have partially blocked several junctions of the M25 motorway.
Over the following months, Insulate Britain continued to target the M25 and other strategic locations.
It's important for me because the future of my children are at stake and the government are just not acting.
The UK government, frustrated with their inability to stop these disruptive protests, had the High Court grant an injunction preventing these protesters from occupying certain roads. Insulate Britain continued their campaign regardless of the High Court order, and on October 26th, 9 Insulate Britain supporters received court notification for their trial on November 16th, where they could be imprisoned for up to 2 years.
I joined Insulate Britain because this was the moment. The eyes of the world were on Britain. We were coming up to COP. We needed our government to step up and prove that it could do something so simple that we were offering to it. And for me, that was the next step in my activism. It was a win-win, reducing emissions, focusing on British people and saving lives. And why wouldn't the government want to do that?
So when I heard about the Insulate Britain plan, I thought that is really going to shake things up. I don't know what is going to come out of it or like what success looks like at this point, but I just thought that is going to stir things up, and I felt called to it. I thought I want to be part of that.
Here to say no more to the millions in fuel poverty, the millions of people that don't have the choice of whether they can eat or heat their homes. I'm here because hundreds and thousands are going to die this winter for being cold.
So I'm here, glued to the road again. We're in Parliament Square.
You can't grow concrete.
There's 12 days to go till my court date, and I'm going to spend one of them in a police cell. But I'm happy to be here with all of these amazing people.
Person here.
I feel like I'm doing the right thing.
So I think here the criminals are people in government not doing what they're asked, which is the simple, most basic demand we could have to really start tackling the catastrophe we're going into. And also it's criminal to stand by and watch and not to do anything at this point in time. That's what's criminal.
It's be Emma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Say who is it?
Nico's got her mouthful.
Yay!
Right.
Have you met Nico before?
No, we haven't met.
Nico, this is Emma.
Hi Nico, how are you?
We all stand in the hallway every time.
But yeah, that's fine by me. It's no good for you, all this sitting on comfy.
I'm pretty sure there is sofas.
Sofas, not in the cell.
I think I was doing okay, and then I've just got all my stuff out on the sofa ready to pack, and I'm just feeling a bit overwhelmed by it all. And in my stuff was my little purse, and Daisy, my niece, who's 5, she just went in it and she was like, "Oh, there's loads of money in here. Don't worry, Sledge. We can give this to the police and they won't send you to prison." And she was like proper, like in her voice was, I just felt really upset. Like she looked really pleased with herself. Like she'd had this idea, and I said, "That's a great idea, Ivy." And her sister said, "Don't be silly, Ivy." And she said, "No, Sledge is a grown up," and she said it's a good idea. And I don't know, in that moment it just made me feel really sad. And it made me angry too, because it is so much about money. And in the legal meeting we had today, it was like, this case is really political, and they've brought in like the biggest lawyers, the most expensive lawyers, like 85 grand they want for the case, and top judges, like senior judges, and it's so disproportionate to like but it's not, is it? Because we're frightening them, you know. If they let us get away with this, then other people who want to hold the government to account will start stepping up and saying, actually, we do have power to make change when the government is failing us and betraying us. And the government are frightened, and I'm not frightened, are you?
I'm a bit frightened. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, like you're playing with the big guns, really. The legal fees are more than I earn in like 5 years. And it is designed to like intimidate us. We go into that enormous, expensive building in like the High Court.
Yeah.
I don't know, we're just like some like crummy normal people. Like I'm just some carpenter like with like a shitty carpentry business, and I'm like telling like the fucking government like you're not doing your job.
Solar powered watch.
I'm not sure that's
30 quid from Muji.
Yeah, so one of the things I'm most
Look,
worried
it's got
about...
super glue mark on it from the road. You won't be able to see that.
That's one of the things I'm most worried about, is the lack of sunlight in there. And
I love that.
watch is gonna...
Oh no, it'll work. It works on... That's your main worry, is whether there'll be enough sunlight to charge my watch.
There'll be enough sunlight to charge you.
Jimmy, how do you feel about being away from Sophie?
I am trying not to think about it. That's the thing that I'm most worried about, is what it's going to be like to be away from her.
I'll come visit.
You don't have to.
Would you rather I didn't?
No, but I would put like a note of caution on the visits. Obviously I want you to come and visit, but I've heard that those visits can be pretty harrowing for everyone. So I don't know what to make of that. I'm going to stay faithful to you in prison.
It's really big of you.
Bye, girls. You gonna come and say bye? I love you. Bye bye.
My name's Andy. I am Emma's husband. Yeah, today's gonna be tough, right? It's yeah. It's like Emma and I live in each other's pockets, like for the last 11 years, and that's potentially gonna change from today. So, yeah, that's quite difficult to deal with, to be fair. We'll see you later, Claire.
See you in a little bit. We'll be half an hour behind you.
All right. I think rather selfishly, I've been so focused on my actions and doing what I'm doing, and that last night having dinner with my parents and my sister and Andy, I did feel this wave of guilt of what I'm putting them through. And although in my heart I know that what I'm doing ultimately is for them and to protect them, it doesn't almost justify the suffering. Like I can see in my mum's eyes, she's really frightened and she's not sleeping, and my dad can't protect his daughter, and they're really struggling, and that I feel really guilty for that, for dragging them into that. For Ollie's there.
Oh, he's there. How come Ollie's bag is so much smaller than your bag?
I don't know. To this with, or just however you want to introduce yourself, basically, just so I can start the recording.
Sure, yeah, so hi, good morning, my name's Oliver, I'm 41, I'm a carpenter, and I've been taking part in the Insulate Britain campaign for the last couple of months.
Talk to me about what's happening this morning.
This morning I'm at the Royal Courts of Justice. There's 9 of us here. We are in court for contempt of court for the breaking of an injunction granted to National Highways Agency.
Talk to me quite honestly. I can't imagine how you must be feeling, but how are you feeling right now? This is something I know you've been preparing for, you've been angling for weeks, months, but to actually be here and facing that, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, what we're angling for is for the government to do their duty to look after the people who can't afford heating in the winter and to take urgent action to reduce carbon emissions. But yeah, mentally, kind of been thinking we might find ourselves in court.
I'm really, really worried. Like that, just the kind of disconnect, like, and that feeling of kind of helplessness, and so yeah, you're right. I'm putting on a front, right? But at some point today, that front is that veneer's gonna crack at some point. I don't know when that point is.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting emotional. It's not even started yet.
I know. I know.
It's going to be all right.
16-year-olds in a single set.
Drunk people probably want to keep that under wraps.
Yeah.
Hey man, how's it going?
Yeah, a bit stressed. Like, I don't know what's going to happen today, how it's going to go, but I feel that the actions that took me into this point, I wouldn't regret for the world. You know, I feel everything I did in good conscience. I did to save lives, and whatever the repercussions come of it, I'll accept them. I'm not happy about it, but I'm not going to argue it at the same time.
Got any final words just before you head in?
I stand by what we did. I'm proud of what we did, and I feel strong-headed right now, and I will say what I need to say in that courtroom. Yeah, I think that's it right now. I'll see you later. You can as well.
How do you feel personally that, your freedom is potentially to follow in the footsteps of these people out there? How do you feel? How does it make you feel?
I made the decision a while ago, and just to reiterate what I've heard in the court, the injunctions are just bits of paper. At the end of the day, I can't sleep easy. I can't go to sleep in my bed knowing that I haven't been here now, doing what's necessary. It's the future of all of us at stake. So I've got my conscience to deal with, and that means I've got to be here. And if that means a loss of liberty, so be it.
Are you going to be out on the streets on Saturday?
I'll be out on the streets again. Yeah, you can quote me on that. Repeated another break of the injunction. 2 fingers to Boris. Edit that out. But there we go. Thank you.
Okay, so what was your statement? When you had the chance to speak today, what did you say?
Well, today was interesting. Like, at the start, it was really dull. They did the normal court stuff. Then everybody got to say their piece, and I'm really glad I got to hear why all the other people were doing it. We all had different reasons, but everything I heard I agreed with, and it was really nice to hear. And tomorrow at 10 a.m. we go back, we'll find out our sentencing. I've been told we have a higher chance of prison sentence now, but I'm glad I got to say my piece regardless of that result.
I'm just really proud that we stuck to our morals and our principles, and that feels really good. And that the 9 of us didn't waver. We said what we wanted to say, and we were all completely supportive of what everyone else wanted to say in that space. And none of us wanted to kind of mitigate for ourselves, as in begging for leniency or apologising. That just felt wrong. Why would you apologise for trying to
stop societal breakdown. Why would you apologise for trying to safeguard the lives of vulnerable people in this country? That's obscene. Like, so...
You're so defiant. But that's why they call them morals, right? You live and die by your morals. That's the beauty of them.
It's crazy. I mean, what was the...
It's one of the reasons why I love you so much.
What did the prosecution say? We want to ensure future compliance. I'm like, you want to ensure future compliance? The 9 of us here are trying to ensure future survival. Is anyone in that courtroom actually get that and stand by that? But apparently not. Compliance is more important than survival. And that's the sad state of affairs we're in. And that's why people of us, like us, have to continue fighting and doing what we're doing and standing by those actions and hoping that others will follow.
One of the interesting things was that the people they said that they didn't apologise for breaking the injunction, and I think that's what they were looking for. They were looking for an apology. Actually, the prosecution said that they didn't actually make an apology at all about the injunction. They did make an apology about the disruption caused, but they didn't make an apology about the injunction. That's what they were waiting for.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but that's the point she was making. She's not the judge. So she's trying to influence the judge to go, oh, these guys didn't make an apology. So her line of argument is obviously different from ours. Her line of argument is about the letter of the law, and our line of argument is about natural justice and so on. So she was always trying to bring it back to the letter of the law and stuff like that. So yeah, an apology for the disruption wasn't enough in the line of argument that she was making, because I guess she was appealing to the judge's loyalty to the law itself, like don't make contempt against us. And we were saying, well, yeah, what's that thing? Bad law. Good people break bad laws. Was basically what we were saying in a nutshell. Our lawyer was telling us that we've probably done enough to make sure we don't. Some irony in what I'm saying. We've probably done enough to make sure we don't get suspended sentences. So we got that to look forward to, which is kind of it would have been a weird feeling. Not that we want to go to prison, but it would have been a weird feeling to walk away without going to prison. It would have felt strange. But on the other hand, it'll feel fucking strange going to prison.
So we had the trial today. Didn't really feel like much of a trial. Their lawyer talked a lot, and then I missed the part where I guess we were asked, like, do you dispute any of that? And we were sort of like, not really. And then that was it. I was still waiting to be asked, did we breach the injunction, when they were like, it's time to do your statement. Have you got anything else you'd like to say? So that all seems to go very quickly. Such a beautiful building. It's just this incredibly strange disconnect between the law carrying on, doing its job, fulfilling its functions, and the horrible catastrophe we face. It's an enormous disconnect. And you're just there in the court arguing, oh, they were in the road for 5 minutes and then there was super glue and they had the papers. I'm like, yeah, but what about the collapse of society? But that's not really legally relevant to this matter. Yeah, anyway, that's it.
Eyes front, please.
If the government do decide to imprison me, they think they can stop me protesting, but my demand still stands to insulate Britain, to protect the vulnerable. and to insulate all the homes, and I will continue my demand by refusing to eat and going on hunger strike if they sentence me to prison today. So it's still their choice, but that's what I will do. By putting me in prison, I will not stop protesting, and that's now the only way I can do that.
You what, sorry?
What door are you thinking you're going to walk out? Come out here? Or?
I've got no idea. Probably. I mean, I'm assuming I'm going to prison, but
That's crazy.
we'll see.
You're like fine, or just sort of like
Yeah.
It's unjust. Yeah, it's unjust, unfair, and unlawful, and I'm very unhappy. I love her.
Come on, guys. Outside, please.
Yeah, so
Hi, I am Tracy Maligan and this is Josh Smart, and we are reading this letter on behalf of the 9 people who have just been imprisoned for protecting our country and everything that we all hold dear. Today in the High Courts, the government has shown its cowardice. 9 ordinary people have been committed to prison for demanding that the government fulfil its election pledges by insulating Britain's homes. The 9, aged between 20 and 58 years old, were convicted of contempt of court for breaking the National Highways M25 injunction and have been sentenced to between 3 and 6 months in prison.
£1 million in just a month. Can you explain how that helps?
Can you explain to me why, as a journalist, you're insisting upon not asking the right questions, why you are insisting upon saying the cost of insulating our homes and reducing our emissions is greater than the cost to our children if we don't?
So nine of your colleagues have been jailed now. What's that going to do to the protests going forward? Are you going to stop them? Are members of your group going to decide that it's not worth it? What's going to happen?
So they're asking us, are we going to stop?
No! What are you doing? To honour the people.
To honour the people
who are making their way to prison. I will now read the names of the 9. Anna Kayatawin, Ben Taylor, Emma Smart, James Thomas, Tim Spears, Ben Booth, Louis McKechnie, Oliver Bock, Andrew
Well, up until the last sort of 24 hours, I mean, this week has been so exhausting that I hadn't really thought about what I was going to be doing tomorrow, but I guess I'm going to be on the road because I've only technically been served the injunction vicariously because it's come to my house, but I haven't actually been served it personally. So yeah, I reckon tomorrow I'll probably be this time in a cell.
Where are we off to right now? What's happening today?
So we're heading into the Royal Courts of Justice to stand in solidarity with the 9 who've been sent to prison.
I feel really delighted that so many people are here, because this is the place everybody needs to be to challenge this injunction, to challenge the government, to say that we've been betrayed. So I'm really, really pleased to see so many people from so many different movements. It's fantastic. Really good.
I feel rubbish. I feel like I have a life and I've been betrayed. I should be, playing music for children and for the people in this world and producing art and not having to worry about life and everyone's future, and I hate it. I hate the fact that it's getting worse and worse. It's escalating. Our friends are being imprisoned and it's close to the bone,
On Wednesday, a judge sat in the building just here and sentenced 9 people to prison. When she did so, she claimed the social contract had been broken by them. I doubt she knew it at the time, but the people she sentenced had stood not far from here 3 years ago, almost to the day, and leveled the same charge at her. The social contract has been broken, but not by us. It is broken when those meant to protect us sign our death warrants over stake. It is broken when the institutions built to serve the people fail to make even the basic decisions to keep us safe. It is broken when the law is manipulated and wielded like a weapon to silence dissent. The social contract has been broken. We have been betrayed. There are now 10 people imprisoned in this country for disrupting the status quo on behalf of life, your life and mine. The people they imprisoned are biologists, doctors, architects, carpenters, and even a Paralympian. And make no mistake, these are political prisoners. And they are only the first. The course we're on is clear to see, and I'm terrified. I think you are too. The former chief scientific advisor to the government said that what we do in the next 3 to 4 years will determine the future of humanity. And our leaders are using all of the power at their disposal to outlaw peaceful protest with a bill which, among other insane things, seeks to legalize stop and search without suspicion, which proposes to criminalize using the internet to carry out protest-related activities, and injunctions which ban protest on all motorways and major A roads in England. But these streets are ours. And if it is on these streets that our democracy must live or die, then this is exactly where we need to be. So here's how we're going to police liaise today. To the officers of the Metropolitan Police, I say this. These streets are ours, and we will put one foot in front of the other and dare you to stop us.
You can shove your injunction up your arse. You can shove your injunction up your arse. You can shove your injunction, shove your injunction, shove your injunction up your arse. Shove your injunction up your arse. You can shove your injunction up your arse. You can shove your injunction, shove your injunction, shove your injunction up your arse.
These are the words of my partner, James Thomas, which he read out in front of the High Court on Tuesday before being sentenced to prison for 4 months. Our government would rather imprison pensioners than insulate their homes. So I stand by my actions. They were proportional and absolutely necessary. Some of those who have spoken today have said they are not afraid, and I admire that. I am afraid. I'm afraid you'll take my home. I'm afraid that you'll take me away from my friends, my family, and my partner. Most of all, I'm afraid my relationship with her will not survive a long prison sentence. So if you sentence me to prison, I hope you don't send me away for long. But I'm more afraid of inaction on the wave of climate and ecological catastrophe that is bearing down on all of us very fast now, and has already begun to crash on some of us. So I stand by the actions that brought me before this court. And if that means prison, so be it.
The Royal Courts of Justice, apparently, he said, in an insane world, the sane will be seen as insane. In a world where fossil fuel companies make up the largest delegation at a conference to avert the climate catastrophe, in a world where 8,500 people die each year because they can't afford to heat their own homes in one of the richest nations on earth, and in a democracy steeped in lies and corruption, good people have a duty to disobey bad laws. We did our duty, and I await the day when a judge in a court of law is brave enough to do theirs.
Whenever I come around here, it's a combination of strength and also anger at the fact that that building is where all the people are making the decisions, and they're just not treating the rest of the country like they're with their own families, and that's really crap.
I feel nothing. I feel nothing for this building. I think it's populated by cowards who shouldn't be in the position that they're in. The people who are making up this march, the people that you're looking at today, would do a much fucking better job than these people in this building at protecting people, at serving the people. I feel nothing.
Bad laws!
Good people!
Good people!
Disobey!
Disobey!
Bad laws!
Bad laws!
We are the resistance!
The resistance!
We are
the
resistance!
The resistance!
Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying climate justice now. People gonna rise like the water, burn this system down.
Hello! Welcome to Lambeth Bridge. Have a look around and have a look at the water, have a look at the trees and the autumn colours. Have a little shake if you need. Ben said in the courtroom, if you do send me away to prison, 10 people or more will step forward and take my place. And if you go ahead and put all 9 of us away, 100 people or more will step forward and take our place. Yeah. And if you send 100 of us away, 1,000 people will step forward and take our place.
Traffic, obviously obstructing them from getting to the other side of the bridge. Can we move to the other side of the bridge, please? No, she's not going to move. Not going to acknowledge me, not going to have a conversation with me.
Feel free to sit yourselves down. Thank you, everybody.
Family from Wales and a father. I'm a volunteer advocate for the most vulnerable street people in Gloucestershire, and I see every day the injustices inherited to the UK millennial generation that my generation has passed on.
And now some of them have gone to prison, and more of us are going to go to prison. And we're at this crossroads, and no one's going to know which way we're going to go. But I absolutely believe in all of you. And I don't know what you're doing for the next few months. I'm sure it's great stuff, but if any of you are on the fence, If any of you are kind of like, maybe I should just work a few more years and then I'll totally commit. If any of you are at all thinking about dropping out of what you're doing, like a lot of us have done, a lot of us with futures have stopped. I was going to be a teacher, man, and I've just, none of that is happening anymore. If any of you are thinking that, come and chat to me afterwards. Something is shifting in the world. There's a division amongst the powerful people who have a lot of money in our societies and in our economies, because a lot of them are looking at the situation and realizing we need to back civil disobedience.
System change. What do we want in system change? When do we want it now? What do we want in system change? When do we want it now?
We came here today because we are good people, and as I've been shouting about, good people, and my t-shirt says it, good people resist bad laws. And we've done that today, but we haven't received quite the reaction we anticipated. You may have noticed. That's deliberate. The state are playing a game too. They want to nullify us. They want to contain us because they know that we are powerful. They want us to get tired. They want us to slow down. They want us to give up. But what we have learnt over the last few months, I was going to say, but over the last few years, is that persistence is required of us now, and resilience, because we are not here to block a bridge, we are not here to go for a march, we are here because we are in resistance, and because our friends who are in prison are in resistance, and they were brave enough to keep pushing, and so we must be brave enough and resilient enough to keep pushing too. So some people have decided to stay here and keep this bridge. Thank you to those people. The rest of us, we're going to get up and we're going to move on. And we'll see what happens then. Stand up, let's go.
Where are you guys going?
He's aiming at an escort.
Take this junction and hold it as a corner, and B section to remove back over that.
Couple more people over this way, please. Looking a little bit thin this end of things, folks. So if a few people want to come migrate this way, that'd be wicked.
Guys, tell me what's going on, where we're at right now.
So we're at Vauxhall Junction, and we've managed to block the junction because we're blocking the roads that have been blocked to us, because we've been told that we can't protest at all in the whole of the UK, pretty much on any roads. So we need to fight that, because otherwise it becomes, I mean, it's just, yeah.
I am here in resistance.
Make an active decision whether you wish to be arrested or not, and make that decision soon, alright? As you can hear from behind us, the cars are starting to make a bit of a noise, and that's obviously being evidence as to that obstruction, okay? So you need to start making some decisions, whether you join the main party of the group, but this has got to go shortly, okay?
It's a big moment.
did that?
Him. Have you got a medic? Have you got a police medic here? There was some here earlier. Do you want to call for one?
No.
Straight on my elbow. Can you call for a police medic? Can you call for...
Can't call for a police medic.
You just hurt her.
That's not how it works.
You just hurt me. You've hurt her.
Sorry?
You just hurt her.
Hurt who?
Shoved me right.
I don't know what you're
What's
watching,
your number?
but all right. There it is. There you go.
Can't see actually, that's why.
It's there. It's written there.
1881.
Can you not touch me, please?
Yeah, but in the
So you're welcome to
dash.
read it.
Can you calm down? I'm not going to attack you. I'm not going to...
And you got his shoulder number on there.
Get off the road.
Out the road. What's your plan?
I just need to think because I've just been dragged.
No one's touched you.
No one's dragged you or touched you.
No one has touched
I
me.
haven't dragged you.
Where you guys just got dragged him?
I haven't dragged him.
No, I have been
You
dragged.
just got
Haven't-
dragged.
I haven't dragged you.
I was physically dragged off the road.
Well, I
up
haven't
to the
dragged
wall.
you. I haven't dragged you.
Going that way.
I'm
telling you the direction
I'm
to
actually
go.
a bit shaken
that
up
way.
by the effect.
All
I
right,
think I'm
okay.
legitimately a stand
Need an
here.
ambulance?
No, I don't.
You might
I
be
need
needed,
to-
excuse me, you might be needed over there. There looks like there could be a bit of
Well, they're
kicking
worried
off
I'm going to
on.
cross the road and go
Yeah,
over
no,
that way.
they're over there. There are some members of the
Do you want
public
to go and help someone out?
shouting. Pardon?
Do you want to go and help them out?
No, you're a policewoman. I'm just
Yeah,
telling
and I'm
you what
dealing
might
with
be
what I've got in
happening
front of
over there.
me.
I don't know who else to tell, but there's something going on.
There's
over
police
there.
officers as well. Look behind you as well.
Okay, I'll tell those.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
We stand with the highway line!
We are here in resistance!
We are here in resistance!
We stand with James Brown!
We stand with James Brown!
We have been betrayed by our government!
We have been betrayed by our government!
We are here in resistance!
Basically limits anyone's right to protest. We're here in civil resistance because that is the only way meaningful change can happen. We've tried every other style of protest, you know, for the last 30, 40, 50 years. My wife is currently in prison because of one of these High Court injunctions. It is an injustice, and I am going to do everything in my power to make sure that our government know they cannot treat the people like this, whilst the government is failing to meet its own climate targets. So that is why we're in this junction.
Getting stronger by the hour.
We're not letting them through, yeah? We're not letting them through. We're join in here, join in here, join in here. That's it.
Keep that side, please.
You believe they're going to commit offences?
Because the rebels got the power.
Quite a bit of difficulty the whole way along both sides. So what we're now asking you all to do is to leave the roadway, the highway, move out of the way. Is that something you're going to be able to do for us?
Possibly. I'm just having a cigarette and deciding.
Right, so I appreciate while you're having a cigarette deciding, however, you're causing quite a bit of difficulty to all the other people around. So it's hopefully you show consideration to other people and everybody else by leaving the highway.
Stop has failed!
Great job.
It's with heaviness that we're doing this. So I think that that's a complicated question. I think anyone wants to be here. There's a power to what's happening today that's in solidarity and resistance with the people who are imprisoned this week. But I don't know how other people feel, but I can speak for myself. I feel angry and devastated to be here, but I think being here is right.
This is a game, okay? It's the very last warning. If you don't get up and leave now, you'll be arrested in section of the highway, okay? Yeah. So give me 10 seconds. Okay, bud, I'm arresting you for obstruction of the highway, okay? I've asked you several times to move. You failed to do so. So you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention on question something you're later live in court. Anything you do say, maybe give an evidence, okay?
Can we just be hanging? Are you going to stand up for us, sir?
You gonna stand up for us? Yeah? Yeah, coming up?
Are you going to stand up?
No.
Okay.
I'm really sorry, yeah?
William.
Are you next?
Yeah, I'm next.
How are you feeling?
Okay, it's my first arrest.
It's your first arrest? So why have you decided to step up and get arrested now?
Because of what's happened with James Brown and with the Highway 9. So yeah, it's really got to me. So I think everything about it is wrong. So yeah.
Do you have any reservations? Are you scared or are you pretty?
Yeah, I'm a bit anxious, but it feels right. Yeah, it's the right thing to do. As soon as I heard about this, I knew it was the right thing to do. I'm a bit nervous though.
Yeah, just thinking about the people that are in a prison cell, the 10 people and all the people that are in prison cells that shouldn't be there. And this is the start of a journey to resist criminality by our government that are leaving millions of people to die. They're allowing unimaginable horror to take place. And this is part of worldwide resistance against criminal inaction.
It's about freedom. At this moment in time,
Hello, you alright? Can I interrupt your interview, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you. You know you're in the middle of a road, right?
Yeah.
You know you're obstructing the highway?
Yeah.
Are you aware it's a criminal offence to obstruct the highway?
I am aware of that.
Is there anything I can reasonably say or do that will make you get out of the road and stop obstructing the highway?
If you could get the government to care about its people, that would be great.
Anything I can reasonably say or do now?
It's just obviously you appreciate that a lot of people, especially the Insulate Britain, because they've been breaching high court enforcement, they haven't just been arrested, it's actually custodial sentences, so like 3 to 6 months in prison.
I understand that. My partner is one of them.
Yeah, you seem like a reasonable person.
Yeah, I am a reasonable person. That's why I'm here.
Which is
I'm
why-
here because I'm a reasonable person, because this government is not looking after us. And we really, really need to inspire people to stand up against it.
I get that, but are you going to do that if you're in prison?
Sorry?
Are you going to be able to do that if you're in a prison cell?
Am I going to be able to inspire people to stand up against the
Yeah,
government
if
I'm
you're
in a
sat in a
prison
prison
cell?
cell.
Yes, because look how many people are out here today. It's because 9 people are in prison because they've been prisoned because they care.
Have you considered just voting for another government in the next general election?
We haven't got time.
Okay, that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. But I really appreciate that, but we actually don't have time. We've got 3 to 4 years to decide the future of humanity. A fucking scientist said that.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to be here, and I'm sorry that you guys have to do this as well. But like, it's got to that point.
First name?
Sophie.
Hello again. Time now is 18:39. You are under arrest for obstruction of the highway. You don't have to say anything, but it may harm your offence. You don't answer any questions, so much later line in court. Anything you do say may be given an evidence.
Can you bring the carrier closer by any chance? We're carrying people, mate.
I'm happy to carry the youngest.
There are 9 people in prison. They're in prison because they care.
Let's try and make it 10, shall we? Let's go.
Right, in the back door. Have we got anyone to photograph Nick yet?
I feel sad that it comes to this, as it does all the time.
I'm in resistance. That's all I know.
I don't know how long you'll be here for, just to let us know.
I'm just in resistance. That's what I can say to you. So against the system.
That you'll understand, we all need somebody to lean on me. When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on for
need somebody to
Are you staying out here for the evening? What are your objectives for the day?
We're here in Resistor, you'll understand.
Are you staying here for the evening or are we going to be moving on? Or?
Somebody to lean
Okay.
on.
Woo!